So today is the appearance day of Sri Lochan Das Thakur. So we'll talk about him a little bit, and then we'll continue our reading from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let's start first with the invocation. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunjabihar Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadat Hari Jana Vallabha Janet Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadat Hari Jana Vallabha Yasoda Nandana Brajagana Ranjana Brajagana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajagana Ranjana Jana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadat Hari Jana Vallabha Girivadat Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadat Hari Jana Vallabha Girivadat Hari Yasoda Nandana Brajagana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Brajagana Ranjana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pakapacharya Satarya Satishi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Gauda Vaishnavinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sakoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Ganga Mai Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakta Devi Ki Shri Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gora Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. So as I mentioned, today is the appearance day of Sri Lokanath Das Thakur. And thank you. So we'll read about his life. It says that this is from ISKCON. I got this from ISKCON Desire Tree. But you look at I looked at a lot of different things online. I actually have a book, but I didn't bring it. And there are a lot of very, very similar. Almost everybody is copy and pasting same information. So this is similar, copied and pasted into a Word document here. So following in the footsteps. So Sri Lokanath Das Thakur appeared in this world in 1520 A.D., 34 years after the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 34 appearances. So he left it 48 years, stayed the planet on 48 years. So this is 14 years old, roughly. I got that right? On when Lord Chaitanya left. Lochan Das wrote a biography on Lord Chaitanya entitled Sri Chaitanya Mangala, and he wrote many devotional songs. So there's the book. It's a nice book. There's a number of books by about Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, and this is Lochan Das's and some first-hand accounts. Very good book. I'm going to read one little thing out of it and just illustrate some of his literary accomplishments. He's very good. Plus, we mentioned here, he's also wrote many devotional songs. Sri Lochan Das took birth in a family of Raya physicians who resided in the village of Godram within the Mahakurma district of Bardhaman. His guru was Sri Narahari Sarkar Thakur. I am a servant of Thakur, Sri Narahari, who is the master of my life, the desire of all my desires. I place at his lotus feet, which is that this vile creature, myself, might describe something about the wonderful qualities of Sri Gaurasundara. In this expectation, he is my only refuge. And that's from the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangala, I mean. We'll read it later. You know, there are other books called that, and they changed the names. Okay, so his father's name was Sri Kamalakara Das, and his mother's name was Sri Sadanandana. He was the only son of his parents. He was raised in his maternal grandfather's home, and his education was completed there. When he was only a little boy, he enjoyed the good fortune of meeting the devotees of Sri Gauranga. He was married at a very young age. From his youth, he was very attached to Sri Gaurasundara and consequently very disinterested in material life. Though he was surrounded by family, friends, and society, in his youth he spent the major part of his time at his guru Shrikanda, where he learned how to do kirtan. The book that he composed, Chaitanya Mangala, was from the diary of Sri Murari Gupta, and that book is also actually available, that diary. Murari Gupta, who resides at Nadia, composed many beautiful verses about the life of Sri Gauranga. These include the youthful pastimes of Nimai, which Murari Gupta personally took part in, and his later pastimes in Nilakala, after he accepted sannyas, which after he accepted sannyas, which were narrated by Sri Damodar Pandit. Having heard these verses of Murari Gupta composed in Sanskrit, I have become very attracted, and so I have composed them in the village folk poetry meter of Bengali. And these books were actually some of the books that Krishnadas Kaviraj used to write Chaitanya Charitamrita, so he relied on these books. Also Swarup Damodar's diary, quite a number of them. In the Chaitanya Mangala, Sri Lochan Das Thakur has written, "My hope of hopes is to be near the lotus feet of Sri Narahari Thakur, to serve and worship him with my very life. The cherished desire of the fallen Lochan Das is to be allowed by the grace of Narahari to sing the glories of Sri Gauranga. My Lord is Narahari Thakur, and I am his servant. Bowing and praying before him, I beg him to allow me his service. This is my only aspiration." So this is the proper mood one should have for their spiritual master. So previously in Bengal, especially East Bengal, now Bangladesh, the poets used to compose sacred songs and verses in different forms of classic rhymes and rhythmic meters called Panchali, such as Lakshmir Panchali, Sanir Panchali, and Manasya Bhashan. The Panchali style of composition was especially used for glorifying the Lord. Sri Lochan Das Thakur used the Panchali form of verse meter in composing his famous work, Sri Chaitanya Mangala. The Panchali form enjoys 5 different kinds of song styles or meters. So you can see there's like poetry or music, these books. You can see that's probably one of the reasons why, if you could just understand Bengali and read the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the original Bengali, you could feel that meters in the poetry, and you'd get a much more relishing. That's what Prabhupada said. You could relish it, even get a higher relishing experience from doing it. Okay, the principal source material that was drawn upon by Sri Lochan Das Thakur in composing his Chaitanya Mangala was a Sanskrit book by Murari Gupta called Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, we've kind of mentioned that. Lochan Das Thakur explains this in his Chaitanya Mangala as follows. That very Murari Gupta, who lived in Nadia, composed many Sanskrit verses about the life of Sri Gauranga, which he later arranged in the form of a book. Having heard these verses from Murari Gupta, Damodar Pandit taught them to me, and I memorized them with great delight. As these Sanskrit verses and the conception of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imparted to me through Damodar Pandit developed within my mind, it flowed forth from me in the form of these Panchala verses in Bengali, which I write in glorification of the life and pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Suchachandra. Now, I'm not 100%, but this Damodar Pandit, I'm assuming, who also lived in Navadvip. At first, he taught expert Srimad Bhagavatam, but he spun it in a Mayavadi way. But later, he became very attached to Prakashpari Pandit, who was a pure Vaishnava, and this changed his heart. So when he actually met Lord Chaitanya later, and Lord Chaitanya first condemned him because he disrespected Srivas Thakur, who came to hear. And not only him, Mukunda, different people would go and listen to him because he was renowned, very popular. So obviously this is later on after he mended his ways. Of course, Lord Chaitanya told him he had to go to Srivas Thakur and ask him for forgiveness for his offense. Because when Srivas Thakur heard Srimad Bhagavatam, he experienced emotional ecstasy, started to cry, and some of the students thought this was a distracting and disturbance to the class, so they had him removed, which was a great offense. And Damodar Pandit didn't interrupt didn't stop it. He allowed it to happen. Devananda. Yeah. Okay. Wait a minute. Devananda. Okay. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, so Lochan Das Thakur explains this in his Chaitanya Mangala as follows. Okay, I got that. I read that. In his preface of the Chaitanya Mangala, Srila Lochan Das Thakur offers his prayers to Vrindavan Das Thakur before proceeding with the narrative. He says, I offer my prayers of submission to Vrindavan Das Thakur within my heart. The sweet song of this Chaitanya Bhagavat has enchanted the whole world. Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat was originally called Chaitanya Mangala. It is said that Srila Lochan Das Thakur and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gave it the name Chaitanya Bhagavat. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes, Vedavyasa has described the pastimes of Krishna in his Bhagavat. The Vyasa of Chaitanya Leela is Vrindavan Das. From this comparison between Vedavyasa and Vrindavan Das, it has been concluded that Kaviraj Goswami is probably responsible for Vrindavan Das Thakur's work becoming known as the Bhagavat of Chaitanya Leela, or Chaitanya Bhagavat. There are many pastimes of Sri Chaitanya that have only been touched on briefly by Vrindavan Das Thakur. These are described in detail in the Chaitanya Mangala of Lochan Das Thakur, which these primarily deal with the early pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is primarily the later pastimes. Chaitanya Mangala is divided into 4 parts: Shrutakandi, Adikandi, Madhyam Kanda, and Shresh Kanda. The Shrutakandi has 2 chapters, Adikanta has 7 chapters, and Madhyam Kanda has 12, and the Sheshakanda has 3. And it goes through, pretty much summarizes each one of these chapters, and I'm not going to go through that. I would recommend getting the book, and probably Kamalini probably has it for sale out there, or you might be able to find it online. So, I think that's what makes up most of this right here. I want to get the last bit. Here we go. So, here's one about Krishna's pastimes. He writes in here, he writes, okay, so Lord Gauranga cried loudly in ecstasy, and his bodily hair stood up. Krishnadas continued narrating the glories of Mathura Mandala. O my Lord, please listen carefully to the pastimes of Krishna once performed on the banks of the lake called Setubandhu Sarovya. Once Krishna came there with Radha and said, I am the same Raghunath, Ram, who killed Ravana with the help of the monkeys. While listening to Krishna, Radha smiled, thinking that Krishna was lying. When Krishna asked curiously about her laughing, Radha replied, Don't tell me a lie. How did you appear as Lord Ram? That form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead was fully in control of his senses. It is not possible for you to behave like him. Ram built a bridge across the vast sea with trees and stones. How? Can you do this now? Krishna laughingly slightly at Radha's challenge and said, If I throw trees and stones on the water, they will definitely float. The gopis said, okay, we'll bring the stones. You just show us how you will make a bridge, O Kanai. Don't be falsely proud. We've never heard of stones floating on water. Krishna said, just bring the trees and stones. I'll build a bridge over this lake. The gopis brought stones and trees, and Krishna floated on them. And the water floated on the water here to make a bridge. The gopis brought stones and trees, and Krishna floated them on the water here to make a bridge. Congratulating him, the gopis said, good, good. However, Radharani showed a smile of satisfaction because Krishna had actually built the bridge for her pleasure. This place is known as Setubandha Sarovar. Lord Chaitanya became happy to hear this pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So this is just a little sweet Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, but that's Lord Chaitanya looking at it. Okay, so he also disappeared in 1540. I don't know if that's Saka or AD. It doesn't say here. So that's the Lochan Das, his pastimes. And anybody want to make any comments, anything they want to add to his pastimes? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. So we're at Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 22. And we're on text 87. I just get that thought of Radharani and Krishna. You're like, how can you be Ram? He can control himself. She knows Krishna well. Okay, text 87. A Vaishnava should always avoid the association of ordinary people. Common people are very much materially attached, especially to women. Vaishnava should also avoid the company of those who are not devotees of Lord Krishna. By association with worldly people, one becomes devoid of truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, gravity, spiritual intelligence, shyness, austerity, fame, forgiveness, control of the mind, control of the senses, fortune, and all opportunities. One should not at any time associate with a coarse fool who is bereft of knowledge of self-realization and who is no more than a toy animal in the hands of a woman. The illusion of bondage that occur to a man from attachment to any other object are not as complete as that resulting from the association with women or with men too attached to women. Purport. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 31, text 33 through 35. Were spoken by Kapila Dev, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to his mother. Herein Kapila Dev discusses pious and impious activities and the symptoms of those who are devoid of devotional service to Krishna. Generally, people do not know about the miserable conditions within the womb of a mother in any species of life. Due to bad association, one gradually falls into lower species. Association with women is greatly stressed in this regard. When one becomes attached to women, or those who are attached to women, one falls down into the lower species. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with the material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. And that's from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 22. According to Vedic civilization, one's association with women should be very much restricted. In spiritual life, there are 4 ashrams: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. The brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyas are completely forbidden to associate with women. Only grihasthas are allowed to associate with women under certain very much restricted conditions. That is, one associates with women to propagate nice children. Other reasons for association are condemned. Really, really strict. For the very serious. Text number 91. It is better to accept the miseries of being encaged within bars, and surrounded by burning flames than to associate with those bereft of Krishna consciousness. By such association, it is a very great hardship. This is a quotation from Katyayana Samhita, 92. One should not even see those who are bereft of devotional service and Krishna consciousness, and who are therefore devoid of pious activities. I mean, this is, you're speaking 500 years ago, they're talking how serious you got to be, to make spiritual progress, and how difficult it can be. You can imagine how much more difficult it is for us in this. And the reason to say this, that's even so much more important to stay in the association of devotees. It's even more important at any time. But as Kali Yuga progresses, it becomes even more and more important how this advice that's given to us here, and how to the point that they stress these points, how important they are. Without hesitation, one should take exclusive shelter of Lord Krishna with full confidence, giving up bad association, and even neglecting the regulative principles of the 4 varnas and 4 ashrams. That is to say, one should abandon all material attachments. Even in the varnashram system, they're saying, which is the system to help one regulate one's life so they can make spiritual advancement. This is very difficult. After giving up all kinds of religious and occupational duties, if you come to me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and take shelter, I shall give you protection from all life's sensible reactions. Do not worry. That's Bhagavad Gita 1866. Sarvadharma Prichamam Mamikam Savarnam Raja Am Tvam Sarva Papyego Mokshayushamam Ma Sucha. That says also, for more of an explanation, go to Madhulita chapter 8, text 63. And that is this discussion between Lord Chaitanya and he's on his South Indian tour, begins with the R. Ramananda Roy. Thank you. Senior moment. I haven't seen the other one. So that's chapter 8 of Madhulita. That I okay, 95. Lord Krishna is very kind to his devotees. He is always very grateful and magnanimous. And he possesses all abilities. A learned man does not give up Krishna to worship anyone else. An intelligent person gives up the company of those who are attached to women and bereft of Krishna consciousness. One should be free from all kinds of material attachment and should take full shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord of Krishna. Krishna is very kind to his devotees. He is always grateful, and he never forgets the service of a devotee. He is also completely opulent and all-powerful. Why then should one take the shelter of a demigod and leave Krishna's shelter? If one worships a demigod and leaves Krishna, he must be considered the foolish, the lowest fool. This is, like Prabhupada mentioned it, you do anything for Krishna, he's not going to forget it. Any kind of service, if somebody comes, and of course that one often used analogies like when the guy at 26th Avenue just came in and just brought some toilet paper and put it. He was drunk, intoxicated, like considered a derelict, but he did a little bit of service. There's no way we can comprehend the value of that service. It's just he's not going to forget it. And then these materialists, because men associate with men, because typically if you associate with these materialists, they're going to talk about materialistic things. If a womanizer or a man, like the tribes here, a man who's attached to women, they're going to talk about those activities, and then you're going to hear that nonsense, right? And it's a disease. We're all in a disease condition. I really, really like that way Prabhupada uses that term, because it really helps me. I think of myself as really being diseased, and then this is the cure. And then even knowingly or unknowingly, if one takes medicine, if they have a particular disease, and whether they knowingly or unknowingly take a particular medicine that could cure that disease, it still cures the disease. So similarly, this Krishna consciousness is the same way. That we are being cured by just staying in the association of devotees. Even though we, at times, like myself, struggle, it's just, we just keep persevering. There has to be some determination. Let's see if I can remember. Determination, enthusiasm, and those two things. I think there's one more thing probably to say are important. So those things are helpful. Got to have some determination. 96. My dear Lord, you are very affectionate to your devotees. You are also a truthful and grateful friend. Where is that learned man who can give you up and surrender to someone else? You fulfill all the desires of your devotees, so much so that sometimes you even give yourself to them. Still, you neither increase nor decrease your activity. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 48. That's text number 26. Whenever an experienced person develops real knowledge of Krishna and his transcendental qualities, he naturally gives up all other engagements and renders service to the Lord. Uddhava gives evidence concerning this. Oh, how wonderful it is. Putana, the sister of Bakasura, wanted to kill Krishna by smearing deadly poison on her breast and having Krishna take it. Nonetheless, Lord Krishna accepted her as his mother, and thus she attained the destination befitting Krishna's mother. Oh, of whom should I take shelter of but Krishna, who is the most merciful? Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 2, text 23. And that's just a great example. She wanted to kill Krishna, and he took it as some service that she performed in a negative way. Of course, we don't want to do that. Just like Sisipal had an intense hatred for Krishna, and so he became Krishna conscious. It was intense. It's described it was intensely hated. You couldn't get him out of his mind. That's why, like some of this news stuff, you got to be very careful. We're talking about association with materialistic people. When you go watch the news, you're associating with these materialistic people. And we see how certain people have been infected by it. So I say Trump haters, especially sadhakas. So they, instead of becoming Krishna conscious, they're becoming Trump conscious through their hatred, their obsession. What's the latest thing? My dose of Trump hate, from the news. So it's exactly the warnings we're giving here. Those aren't like, we're not giving any kind of exceptions to the rule. You can associate with these materialists, but not these materialists. So they have I used to watch the news. I'm totally guilty. But I don't know, about 8 years ago or something, when Trump first came on the scene, and I saw how devotees, they came out of the closet, whether they liked him or hated him, and I just saw how they were acting, and I see, wow, they're becoming Trump conscious, and it scared me, to the point that it's like to me, it was a warning, and so I just stopped it. I just can't, I realized the effect it has, and sometimes subtly we don't see it, the effect it has. But the more you do it, that subtle stuff becomes more and more and more and more. It becomes conditioned, right? And then becomes a norm. And we sometimes might see it as, not so harmful, but it has to, we have to come back to a grounded situation like we're reading here, and we're constantly being reminded that, these are materialists. They have an energy, a certain material energy that surrounds them. Whereas devotees, depending on the level of one's faith, what really is described based on one's faith is how advanced one is in Krishna consciousness. It's all based on faith. You can measure them. There's Kanista, Majjhimam, and Uttama. This is all explained in the 11th canto. And this all correlates with one's faith in Krishna consciousness, because faith changes from these verses we sing every day after here of the Shishastaka. That's all different. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains these are all different levels of faith. And the Prabhupada said on the very last verse of chapter, I hope it's chapter 11, the divisions of faith, and that chapter, the very last purport, he talks about that mature faith is love of God, when one's faith is mature. I hope it's chapter 11. Maybe it's not now, but it's divisions of faith. That's the chapter. So, okay. And the last purport, it's very nice. All is very nice, but he brings it to a head on that purport. Text number 99. There are two kinds of devotees: those who are fully satiated and free from all material desires, and those who are fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Their qualities are one and the same, but those who are fully surrendered to Krishna's lotus feet are qualified with another transcendental quality, Atma Samarpana, full surrender without reservation. Anybody want to comments or say anything? Comments, questions? Okay. Text number 100. The 6 divisions of surrender are the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service, the rejections of unfavorable things, the conviction that Krishna will give protection, and the acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master, full surrender and humility. Again, this is Lord Chaitanya's preaching to Sanat Goswami. Man, talked about getting the right association. Purport. One who is fully surrendered is qualified with the 6 following characteristics. 1, the devotee has to accept everything that is favorable for rendering of transcendental love and service to the Lord. 2, he must reject everything unfavorable to the Lord's service. This is also called renunciation. 3, a devotee must be firmly convinced that Krishna will give him protection. No one else can actually give one protection, and being fully convinced of this is called faith. This kind of faith is different from faith of an impersonalist who wants to merge into the Brahman effulgence in order to benefit by cessation of repeated birth and death. A devotee wants to remain always in the Lord's service. In this way, Krishna is merciful to his devotee and gives him all protection from the dangers found on the path of devotional service. 4, the devotee should accept Krishna as the supreme maintainer and master. he should not think that he is being protected by a demigod. He should depend only on Krishna, considering him the only protector. The devotee must be firmly convinced that within the three worlds he has no protector or maintainer other than Krishna. So we might not think that we're being protected by demigods, but we think sometimes we're being protected by maybe the town of Hillsborough or the state of North Carolina or this particular government or that. But we have to understand, we just changed that same situation. That ultimately, Krishna is our protector. This is a very elevated position there. Okay, so number 5. Self-surrender means remembering that one's activities and desires are not independent. The devotee is completely dependent on Krishna, and he acts and thinks as Krishna's desires. So the devotee is meek and humble. So this is the 6 divisions of surrender that are accepted, of those things that are favorable for devotional service. So Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvashachaham hidi sanisvito matashmitir ganam apohanam cha vedascha savir aham eva vedyo vedanta creed vedavid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Situated in everyone's heart, Krishna deals differently according to the living entity's position. The living entity's position is to be under the protection of the illusionary energy. Let me start over. The living entity's position is to be under the protection of the illusionary energy or under Krishna's personal protection. When a living entity is fully surrendered, he is under the direct protection of Krishna. And Krishna gives him all intelligence by which he can advance in spiritual realization. The non-devotee, however, being under the protection of illusionary energy, increasingly forgets his relationship with Krishna. Sometimes it is asked how Krishna causes one to forget. Krishna personally causes his devotee to forget material activities, and through the agency of Maya, Krishna causes the non-devotee to forget his devotional service to the Lord. This is called apohana. So we see how this faith, right? This is mature faith. This is these 6 conditions. And faith is something you can measure. I mean, you can measure it right here in this room. Just measure. You can see how many people come to this room. But faith is something that it grows gradually. There's one analogy is like when, say, you're trying to get to a particular location, say Weaver Street Market. You've never been there. You're new here. Somebody knows, and they want to tell you how to get there. So you go out here and you turn left. You go down the hill. You cross a bridge. You get a stop sign. You turn right, you go down about a mile, you'll see another first road to your right, you cross that bridge, and then you go down to the stop sign, you take a left. So he gives them the complete directions. And so the person, he gets out here, he turns left, he goes down, and he sees the bridge, it's okay. He comes to a stop sign, yeah, that's there, he's mentioned that. He turns right, and he goes down a little ways to the first road. And he said, okay, he turns right there, and he crosses another bridge. So his faith starts to grow in the directions that this person has given him. So his faith so this is like the spiritual master. He gives instructions. And as you hear more and more from the devotees and the spiritual master, one's faith increases. Right? And so as he gets, each direction he takes is correct, his faith grows more and more. So, thank you very much. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Adipurusham
Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindanalayataksam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Nandar Agom Vidamaniya Nishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Angani yasa sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Namo Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Itina Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachadine Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Tisatha Vine Saraswati Devi Jai Prabhupada Vani Pachadi Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Tisatha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadev Gaura Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadev Gaura Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadev Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadev Gaura Bhaktavinda Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadev Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Haribo, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Jai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol 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 Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Radha Golokananda Radha Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radha Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Hey Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Hey Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Bhagavacharya Satarya Satashishimaya Srivasadi Gaur Ki ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jamuna Mayi Ki Ganga Mahi Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakta Devi Ki Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. I got one thing. I got confused, Devananda Pandit and Damodar Pandit in the Devananda Pandit gave the Srimad Damodar classes, and Damodar Pandit was an associate of Lord Chaitanya, who Lord Chaitanya later sent to help his mother. He was extremely strict, even around Lord Chaitanya, and always trying to protect Lord Chaitanya. Okay. I want to make that correction, sorry.